Hey guys, so today I'm going to be showcasing and teaching you all how to make this beautiful grand piano in RoCitizens. Since this build does not fit with a particular category like beds, plants, or dining tables, I have decided to make an entire video specifically on it instead. I will also be speaking this one, so I hope it will be easier for you guys to follow along. Anyways, here's the piano. It includes its individual keys along with some other details like the red felt strip and the pedals of the bomb to make it as realistic as possible. I'll move out the bench so you guys can get a better look at the pedals. Along with that, I added this little wooden layer here to make it look like the inside of a piano. So yeah, definitely one of the most sophisticated builds that I've created for this channel, but the tutorial should be very easy to follow since I've broken the build up into a few concise steps, so feel free to follow along and build with me. It costs $37,000, and here are what you will need. Pause the video to gather up your materials, and once you're ready, I'll get started with the tutorial. We're going to be building this piano over here in this circular room of my haunted manor. So the first thing that we're going to do is that we're going to place a building block right in the middle of where we will have the piano built. Then, we're going to surround this building block with more building blocks arranged in a 4x5 formation. The material of these items is not going to matter right now since we will be removing them later. Also, I will not color the rest of the build until the very end of it. We're going with some white plastic building blocks since those are easy to see. Next, remove the block that is at the middle and the 3 blocks at this corner, and then add in a block here to fill up the gap. This should be the general shape of the piano with the keys on the left hand side where I'm standing at right now. Next, add building blocks followed by 3 turntables and another building block over here. Make sure that the building block at the top is directly on the top of the building block at the bottom. You don't want to have it shifted a bit to the side. Precision is very important for this build. Once you have them placed just like so, you can just remove the building blocks and the turntables at the bottom since they're only there to lower up your furniture items. The next step will be to grab some small mouse pads that do not have the LED lights on the edges. Rotate them like so and move them 1 unit out starting from the outer edge of the building block below. Place down 3 more of them next to the one that you just placed down, moving the blocks and turntables slightly to the side as you go so that you can lower them appropriately. This part here will be created for the strip of red felt that is between the piano keys and the top portion of the piano. You should keep the bottom layer of blocks for now since it can be used as a guide to help you know where to place certain furniture items later on in the build. Next, hop on over to the opposite end of the piano and pull out another block. Move the building blocks directly on top of this one, but don't place it yet. Instead, move it 3 units in from each side just like so before placing it. Then, place some blocks like this and have 3 turntables placed right on top of one of them. After that, place wooden blocks directly on top of the blocks that you placed earlier. The next step will be to stack up 2 blocks and 3 turntables up on the ground and fill the rest of the area with wooden building blocks just like so. You can have the blocks and the 3 turntables at the bottom removed once you are done placing a block right on top of them. We're only going to be using them for leveling up the blocks like how we did with the mouse pads. Next, grab a building block and 2 turntables and have them stacked up here. Then, stack a plastic building block directly on top of it. Use this technique and cover up pretty much every area of the piano with blocks. Just don't do this over at the place where the keys are going to be. We will do something else over there. The height for this layer would be 2 building blocks and 2 turntables from the ground. I personally think that it is very helpful to use the building blocks that we have at the bottom to guide you to know where exactly you are placing it. Also, make sure to start from one end of the piano all the way to the other end just so that it can be easier for you guys to place down these blocks. If the building blocks are difficult to place for this part, move the camera slightly to a better angle or decrease your age so that you can be a bit shorter. So once you're done, just remove all the blocks and turntables that you're using for loading up the blocks at the bottom. So you should have something like this so far. Let's start working on the wooden body of the piano for a bit and let's go to its lid. We'll come back to finish this up later. For the piano lid, you first will need to place 4 building blocks on the side like so. Then, place a turntable at the top of these wooden building blocks and place a plastic building block on the top of that, exactly halfway into the block at the bottom. Once you're done with that, just create an entire row like the row at the bottom layer. If you're unsure of whether or not it is halfway in, you can always change the color of one of the building blocks at the bottom to some art color so you can see it better. For the rest of the lid, just place down rows like how you did earlier, with each row incremented 2 turntables higher than one underneath it, again with the blocks halfway in, just like how I'm doing here. Just continue to do this until you reach the other side of the piano. Once you have built the lid to up to this area, remove the 6 building blocks right here to sort of make a little curvature for the lid over in the back. So yeah, that's pretty much the top part of the piano all done. The only thing that we need to add left is a little stand prop over at the side of the piano, but I'm feeling a bit lazy right now, so we'll be working on that later. Let's go back down here to begin working on the keys of the piano. So let's first work on the sides of the piano keys. Place a block and a turntable on top of these blocks right here. Then, slide in the toaster 3 units in with the press handle turned inside so it cannot be seen. After that, just go ahead and do the same for the other side of the piano. So once you have done that, you should have something like this. The next step will be to make the white keys. The white keys will be game consoles that are placed 2 building blocks from the ground. To do this, you will have to place a game console right at the center first, 1 unit in from the end of the toasters on the side. After that, just add in more game consoles to the side of the game console at the center. Since these game consoles come in black by default, just make them white so that it'll be easier for us to work with. Next, we'll be working on adding in the bottom part of the keyboard. Grab some game consoles and place them just like so. The height of this portion of the build is a block and 3 turntables from the ground. At the ends, just rotate them like this so they would perfectly fit the piano. Again, we'll be coloring these game consoles to a color besides black to make it easier for us to see when we are placing down our furniture items. The next part of this build would be to fill up the rest of the wooden body of the piano with building blocks. This is very similar to how we did it with the layer right at the top, but this one is level at 1 block and 2 turntables. Again, if you guys find it difficult to place in some of the building blocks, just tilt your camera a little bit or lower the height of your view by decreasing your H. we're done with that, we should also remove the blocks at the bottom that have been used to show us the overall shape of the build, since we're almost done. Let's work on the black keys of the piano. For these keys, they'll be leveled up a block, a turntable, and a small mouse pad from the ground. Make sure you're using the mouse pad without the LED edge or else it's not going to work. Then, without rotating, sliding these book holders in just like so. Have a 3-unit gap between the toaster at the side and the book holder. Make sure to have them shown around halfway across the white piano keys just like the ones in real life. The second black key will have a 1-unit gap between the first black key. The gap after that will be a 4-unit gap. Then the next two will have a 1-unit gap. After that, there will be a 4-unit gap. And then finally, a 1-unit gap. Yeah, that should be all of the black keys. Just remove the blocks, the turntable, and the mouse pad at the bottom once you're done with the keys. Let's work on the stand at the top of the piano, which is used to hold the lid. For this part, we'll be using those spice shakers. Begin by stacking up some blocks on top of the side of the piano over here. Once the blocks are close to the top of the lid of the piano, place down a spice shaker somewhere around here. Precision doesn't really matter here, so don't stress if you have it slightly different from how I have it. Just estimate. After that, remove one building block at the bottom, stack up 2 turntables, and then have the spice shaker placed here, 2 units to the right of the spice shaker at the top. Then, remove the turntables and move a spice shaker on here, another 2 units to the right of the spice shaker at the top. Continue to do this for the rest of them, with each spice shaker moving 2 units to the right and 2 turntables down, until you reach the bottom. And once you guys are done with this is what it should look like. The last things that we'll be working on will be the pedals and the legs of the piano. We will start off with the pedals first since it will be easier for us to place them. It will be made with spice shakers just like the lid prop. To make this, place down a building block here first. Then, place down a spice shaker in the middle here, followed with 2 more on each side. Once you're done with that, remove the building block at the bottom and then grab out an empty bookshelf and place the turntable on top of the lowest level of the bookshelf. This will be the levels for the spice shaker just below the spice shakers at the top. Just have them placed directly below them, just like so. Then, remove the turntable once you're done placing the 5 spice shakers. Lastly, place a trophy right below here on top of the lowest level of the empty bookshelf. Just have it placed right at the center like how I'm doing right here. To get these trophies, you can try typing in the code Discord Dance or Sweet Tweets. After that, we'll be using a computer mouse for the pedals. Make sure you're using the ones that do not have light emitting out of it. Just have 3 of them placed just like so. For the piano legs, just use some metal plungers and have them placed like this. The last thing that we should do is color it. Feel free to color it any color that you would like, but I'm going to be using the typical black and white colors that the piano would have, just like how I've showcased it. And there you go, the entire piano is done. For the bench, just grab one from the agrarian set and place it right here. Alright guys, please leave a like and subscribe if you found this video useful. I'll have a new vid out soon, so stay tuned. Goodbye everybody.